Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from my very own channel Astro Assurance. I said we will be talking more about the retrograde series, and we have already done certain placements of retrograde planets. For example, we did different planets when they become retrograde, what are the results that can manifest. Of course, we left Sun and Moon out of it because Sun and Moon never go retrograde, and we also left Rahu and Ketu out of it because Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde. And we also did retrograde planets in different houses. But what happens if that planet is your Amatyakaraka, which is the planet which is related to the karma, kriyama and karma, the action that you yourself do, especially related to the material side of life, because the Atma Karaka is more about the spiritual ascension, the spiritual journey that the soul does. However, the Amatya Karaka is more related to your work, your karma, your actions that you do on a day-to-day basis, which can also be related to your work, your career. However, the actions that you do more towards a materialistic manifestation, that is your Amatya Karaka. It may involve relationships, it may involve work, it may involve other things related to your hobbies, your cravings, your children, your romances, and many things else. So let's see if you have a retrograde Amatya Karaka in the 12 different houses, how does it manifest results. So firstly, how does the Amatya Karaka in the Lagna perform when it is retrograde? Now we know that the retrograde planet also gives results of the last house. So here the Amatya Karaka is directly getting related to the 12th house of the previous innings. I won't say previous life because the soul doesn't have a life. The soul is not destructible. The soul lives on. So in the second innings or this innings of ours, we are carrying forward the baggage, the karmic baggage, the karmic debt of the previous innings. And so here what you do for the manifestation of the Lagna at a material level is also getting connected at a spiritual real to your previous innings. And because there is karmic baggage, there is a lot of karmic baggage you need to shed. So in your endeavor to get a certain position in life, a certain respect in life, a certain status in life, and reach a certain place in life, a certain height in life, there you have to contend with to let go of a lot of karmic debt or karmic baggage in the journey towards manifesting those results at a material level, which means in trying to get a certain name, trying to get certain fame, in trying to get certain status in life, you will have to go through various ups and downs, and in those ups and downs you will be making a payment of your karmic debt, of your karmic baggage. And generally these may come as some roadblocks, as some obstacles, and also payments, even losses that you do. And in that journey, because of going through ups and downs, because of going through those challenges, you may also hit the peak that you intend to hit late in life, or not as soon as you intend or you desire, or maybe that you deserve. So retrograde planet, as you have talked earlier about, is like a catapult. It's like a planet being pulled in a catapult and then suddenly being released. So same thing happens with a retrograde Amatya Karaka in the Lagna, where a lot of results don't manifest to you at the right time. Because it is rogue, it's very, very difficult to predict exactly when you will get results of the retrograde Amatya Karaka, especially related to career, designation, position in life, getting a certain respect. So when you most intend to, or when you most expect those, though it doesn't happen that way. So in your career, in your work, you expect that you will get promoted, your work has been so very good, you have been appreciated, but at the last moment some hurdle comes and that promotion gets pushed back, and suddenly when you least expect, a certain result comes to you, and hence you get to a position in life which you least expected at the start of your journey. Especially with a retrograde Amatya Karaka in the Lagna, most of the people that you talk to with the retrograde Amatya Karaka in the Lagna, they will say that I never thought I will reach here, I never thought I'll end up becoming this, I never thought I will end up in a business, I never thought I'll end up in this kind of a career or work, or I'll be working in this line or in this industry. So you will always get these surprise stories. Even if it's a successful story, you will always find that those things that were least expected come as results for a retrograde Amatyakaraka. Late in life, definitely, but strong results come from such an Amatyakaraka. The only thing is you need to keep striving, you need to keep working. Such an Amatyakaraka also gives you less decisiveness in your action. So you sometimes think, okay, this is what I am going to do, and tomorrow I'll sign the papers, or tomorrow I'll do this, and then the next day morning when you get up, you have some doubts, and or you intend to go and do that, but when you go there, you suddenly find that things have changed, circumstances have changed, and you're no more able to take that. So all these hiccups, these obstructions keep coming to you, and sometimes even for the better, because later on you realize it's better you didn't sign the contract, it's better that thing didn't go through, because there were more losses in that, there was higher karmic baggage to be paid. So with the retrograde Amatyakaraka in the Lagna, slow and steady wins the race, but you keep at it, you keep slogging at it, eventually you get your cherished desired results, later definitely, but stronger results. With the retrograde Amatyakaraka in the second house, here the second house of income, savings, principles in lives, values, all is getting attached to your Lagna, which means how you are able to manifest yourself, what kind of respect you have in society, what kind of status you have in society, that gets linked to your savings, your earnings. If you are somebody who people see as, now on one side you may say that I am somebody who's very principled, I always do things which which are backed by values, strong values. However, if others don't see you as that, then you may not get the compensation for that behavior of yours in the form of a good livelihood, in the form of good earnings. So others should also see as you think you behave. So just by virtue of you thinking that you are somebody who leads a life of values, of ethics, of morals, but others don't see you as that, you may not be able to derive the maximum fruit from it. So this is about not only doing, but also conveying or communicating or expressing, or maybe beating your own drums also a little bit at least, so that people don't see you as somebody who's parroting your own successes. So at least in a direct or indirect way, you will have to communicate, you will have to express all your achievements. For example, you may tell your achievement by thanking somebody, saying that, sir, if you were not there, I would not have been able to achieve this project. You're telling the CEO, sir, if you were not, you had not shown the leadership, then my team would not have been able to get this. So in an indirect way, you have to express, you have to let the topmost people know what you've been doing and how you've been performing. Then you will find that your income is also related, your livelihood also gets related, and both of them compensate each other, both of them support each other. In such a placement also, many times the attitude or the baggage of the tribe or the family that you're born in also sometimes becomes a baggage, or sometimes your caste, your religion, your background seems to influence which direction you're moving. It's not easy to shed off the tag and move forward, and hence many times to be able to reach a certain position in life, many times you have to struggle to let go of that culture of the tribe or culture of the family or culture of the caste or community that you're born in, and to move ahead and to shed that baggage takes some effort. However, such people can be big foodies also, and sometimes their reputation is also that of a foodie who likes good food also, and so many times you'll have to throw many parties which you don't intend to throw, but because people see you as somebody who loves life, who loves to eat, who loves to also feed others, you may be pulled up. However, this is a good placement where over a period of time you are going to manifest good livelihood, good earnings, good savings through your character, through your position, through your respect. However, this is also a placement where you save a lot of money, and then without reason or without warning, you're suddenly needing to break up that investment, break up the saving, because some firefighting things comes up, and then you have to break up that saving of yours because you need to pay off somebody else, or you need to make the payment somewhere else. So you need to be a little careful and try and keep money away, because without warning a situation will come where you will have to part way with your savings. If you're not accumulated enough, then you will have to ask money from others, and then your reputation gets affected, and then your livelihood gets affected. So to ensure that your reputation doesn't get sullied, be well planned in terms of your earnings, savings. Try and keep some money away for a rainy day, so that you keep earning, you keep doing good, and your reputation is also intact. With the third house retrograde Amatyakaraka, here your effort is directly getting related to the second house of earnings, of livelihood, which means the more hard you work, the more hard you are ready to put in self-enterprise, the more hard you are ready to push yourself, your earnings and your savings also grow, your livelihood also grows. And you will also find with this that initial times it is difficult to get a good livelihood just through your effort. So you put in a lot of effort, you keep trying and keep trying, yet for some reason you are not able to earn enough, you are not able to grow enough. And then suddenly for 6-7 years you don't grow, or you grow very, very slowly, and then for the next 2-3 years you grow very, very fast. Again, because it is a rogue planet kind of a placement, and because the Amatyakaraka is about material side of life rather than the spiritual side. So the more effort that you put in toward the material side, you are compensated. Later definitely you will get better success, but you will get through. This is also a placement where if you are doing anything using the social media, online communication, or using technology, many times you will not get those kind of effort or results that you expect out of it. Mails may go slow, or results may not come through just 1 or 2 mails. 2, 3, 4 mails may have to be written, or on the social media you may not be able to reach that kind of a following that you want to, or get those kind of likes on your posts that you think you deserve, and then something which you think you should not get more likes for, and that post suddenly gets liking or appreciation. So even on the social media or in your effort, you will find that your results come least expected from a certain quarter, and most expected quarters will let you down more often. Here, because the third house is also about marketing and your branding, which means the way you market yourself better, your earnings will also increase. So here, if people see you as a hardworking person, your reputation is of a hardworking person, your reputation is of a person who can head a project, lead a project, can work with people, then people will give you the role. And because you're given the role and the authority, then your earnings will also grow. Without your effort, without the reputation that you have, without your branding, without the role, without the authority and work and output, your earnings will not grow. This is also placement sometimes where you may also be someone who is able to reach out and communicate with unusual means, very, very strong in your communication also. However, it takes time to make an impact, but when it makes an impact, it makes a very, very strong impact. So when you make presentations, or when you're presenting to an audience, you may take time to build everything, to make a good presentation, or come to conclusion what you need to do, what you need to present. But when you do, maybe 1 or 2 presentations, 1 or 2 pitches of yours, even in sales or marketing, may go not the way you want, but when it strikes very, very strong. A placement where it takes time to grow, but when you grow, especially when you are trying to do something of your own, not working for somebody else but working for yourself, slow but steady wins the race. It will take your time, but once you hit the jackpot, it's a big, big jackpot, you win. The retrograde Amatyakaraka in the 4th house is getting your 4th house connected to your 3rd house, which means that the more effort that you put in, your assets will also grow. It is not about the income, where the 3rd house and the 2nd house are getting connected. Here it's about your assets. So if you have money, and if you don't save, and if you don't put it into assets, then the money will vanish. It will go in spending. But if you do something with it, you build some assets, you buy some property, you invest some in some land, you buy a big property on which you need to pay EMIs, and it goes in that, then your effort is also paying for the assets that you build. So the more effort that you put in, the more assets also you build, because of a retrograde Amatyakaraka in your 4th house. Because the 4th house is all about assets, different kinds of assets, different kind of conveniences, the more effort that you put in your career, in your work, or for getting those resources, or getting that. So if you like a plot of land, or if you like a house and you are relentlessly behind it, you will get it sooner or later, but you will surely get it. This is also a placement where you initially struggle in your domestic life. So wanting to marry and settle down may take some time initially. which means that even if you get married early, settling down will not be easy. It will take time before the couple settles down, even if you know the person from before. This is also placement. Sometimes people may get married early, yet they will really, to get to know the person, will take some time. This is a good placement for good domestic life, good happy life. But as time passes, the domestic environment settles, the comfort level with each other settles between the couple and in the family. Assets also grow, and this is a strong placement of a very happy domestic life. Assets build over time, but the more effort that you do, the better you get at it. But this is also placement where you can do a lot of good through the social media or through using technology, and through that build assets as well. So if you have the retrograde Amatyakaraka in the 4th house, it will be only a matter of time before you become a big landlord, having a lot of riches, having a lot of property, having all the conveniences in life. So just wait for it, keep striving for it, and one day all of that will be yours. The retrograde Amatyakaraka in the 5th house is a very, very interesting one. The reason being is here, the trine house is getting related to or connected to the 4th house, to a Kendra house. So here, the 5th house is about speculation, speculative investments. So here, a person is better off investing or doing its speculative investments in property or land rather than in stocks or share market, because the 5th house is getting connected to the 4th house. So the 5th house speculative investments may lead to losses, unless you are doing it in the 4th house. So the investment should go in the 4th house, then you build upon it. But if the investments are going in the 5th house of share market and stocks and getting connected to the 4th house, which is 12th to it, then the losses may be more. Here you need to be careful where you are investing, which property you are investing. But if you are careful and if your due diligence is done, you build a lot of assets strongly over a period of time, little by little, but definitely you get it. This is also a placement where in romance, you may take time to settle down with somebody. For example, you like somebody, you may even start to go around with that person, even date that person. However, the settling from inside that this is the right person for me doesn't come easily. You are in dual mind. Sometimes you may be seeing two people at the same time, not knowing who to end up with. And sometimes the romance breaks where you least expect. So it's like you think, okay, I should not go with A, but I should go more with B. Before you know it, the relationship with B goes for a toss, and A is something that seems to be more likely for you to happen. So least expected results come from romance, least expected results come from children, least expected results come from speculative investments, but the best results come here from an artistic endeavor. This is also good placement where you can create a good self-run business working out of home. So if you have a strong hobby, or if you like to do something and if you are good at it, whether it is dancing, singing, anything related to arts, anything related to consulting, where you have an own home office, you can do very, very well. So whatever you like to do, whatever your hobbies are, whatever your interests are, convert that into a certain kind of a vocation where you do it, run out of home, make it a home office, and you will find you'll do very, very well. It will take time to settle down. It may take a few years, but when the success comes, it will be huge. So for example, if you're running dancing classes from home, so, or you're also posting it on the social media, you're putting it on this platform or YouTube or any other platform. So it will take time for you to build a certain following, for you to get appreciation, for getting liking. But after a few years, suddenly you will really go through the roof, you will crash through the roof in terms of the number of followers you have, the number of people who like you, number of people who want to emulate you, and you will also attract a lot of resources from it. So good strong placement overall, whether it's for romance, for building assets, for doing something of your own connected to the arts, even good results for children. However, the results come slow, results come unexpected from the least quarter that you expect, but when they come very, very strongly. And this is a strong Raj Yoga, one of the best Raj Yogas to have, where when the 5th house Amatyakaraka, retrograde Amatyakaraka is getting connected to the 4th house. The 6th house Amatyakaraka is a good placement because the 6th house Amatyakaraka means it is getting related or connected to the 5th house. However, this also becomes a challenge sometimes where your relationship with the children are concerned. The reason is because the 6th house is also the house of competition. So sometimes you may have children who may not be in the best relationship with you on the long term. So you have children, you start off well in your life, but however slowly the distance increases, the children may not think like you, they may think differently, they may go off in a different tangent than you. So the more friendly you are with children, the better results you get out of it. The other hand, you also find that where you least expect, those people end up, or you feel that those people are not those people who wish well for you, or they are competition for you, or they are always trying to find fault with you. They seem to be the one who turn out to be the ones who come to your rescue. So at work, if you're caught, if you don't know who to go to, if you run to a friend, the friend may not be able to help you, but somebody who you thought you may not be able to get help from that quarter because they seem to be antagonistic to you, you more often get help from them. This is also a placement where in competitive exams you may take 2, 3, 4 times that effort may be needed before you crack the competitive exam. The same thing for growth and in your work, in service, especially if you are in service, it will take you time to be able to get appreciation from your bosses, to get that acknowledgement from your bosses that this person really works well, this person deserves the growth, this person deserves the role before it comes to you. So a lot of struggle has to go into it, a lot of effort has to go into it before you get it. This is also a placement where if a chronic ailment develops, it takes a lot of effort to get rid of it. So sometimes you don't get to know that you have that kind of an ailment, but once you get to know that this is the challenge that you have, this is the sickness or illness that you have, then it takes a lot of time, lot of effort, lot of discipline before you are able to overcome it. This is also Bhrigu Bhav, which means a lot of karmic debt is being carried forward. So the more service you do, the more you are giving, the better results you get from service, the better results you also get in competitive exams, the better results you also get connected to work, because the 6th house is also the house of colleagues or the people who work below you. A good strong Amatyakaraka year, however, it will take you time, a lot of overcoming of competition before you hit the gold mine. The Amatyakaraka in the 7th house, which is retrograde, is getting connected to the 6th house as well. So here, 6th house being the Bhrigu Bhav, the karmic baggage is getting connected to the 7th house. So here, relationships don't come easy. Relationships always strike a bargain with you or strike a price from you. And because the 7th house is also has the Libra energies about balance, it is difficult for you to keep a balance between what you want and what others want. And many a times, at least in the initial years, the balance seems to be always tilting in the favor of the opposite party. Whether it is in your marriage, whether it's in partnership, whether it is with colleagues at work. So people who work at a similar level, they seem to be doing better than you. So they seem to be always stealing a march over you, and they seem to be getting the appreciation, they seem to be getting the growth also, where you seem to be lagging behind a bit. However, when you do very well, more than often than not, you are compensated. But generally, you don't get compensated within the same organization. Many times I've seen that you don't do very well in some organization, your colleagues seem to be doing better. You leave the organization, you go into the other. And there in the other organization, you grow much faster than your colleagues in the previous organization. And very soon, you end up being in much higher designation than your colleagues in your previous organization. So this is a placement where you have to sometimes let go of something to gain something else. So even in relationship, many times you'll have to let go of your ego, you'll have to let go of or eat your pride before the relationship really does. So the more you keep contributing in the relationship over a period of time, and then it really solidifies, and when it solidifies, it does very well. Same thing in business also. In business, it may take time for you to start off, but when you do very well, you do very well. This may also take time for you to build a relationship. So when you are first joining any organization, or you're joining a club, or you're meeting somebody for the first time, you don't hit off with them immediately. Those relationships will be very few who you hit off very well, immediately or within a few meetings. Usually these relationships take time to build. If you have a retrograde Amatyakaraka in your 7th house, and if you're still doing very well, hitting off with relationship much faster, getting very good results in business, very good results in relationships without any hiccups, then definitely you will have to have a lot of benefits which are associated with such an Amatyakaraka. Because the 7th house Amatyakaraka is getting related to the 6th house here, if you're not careful, the relationship also goes through a break. Many times such people with a strong Amatyakaraka will at least have one break in a relationship before they move forward. So it's better that you are really careful, you are more giving initially so that the relationship solidifies enough before you get compensated for it over a period of time. So a good placement where business results, you will get very good results from your colleagues, you may get very good results, your relationship results may come very good, you will strike a rapport with people and get very good results output from them, but this is only over a period of time where a lot of contribution has first been made before you start reaping the fruits of your labor. The 8th house retrograde Amatyakaraka is a placement where a lot of your work is getting related to or connected to a lot of obstructions, which means the first time you do anything, you don't get immediate success. So anything you do, whether you're sitting in an exam and you're trying to get clear through it, or you're approaching somebody you like and proposing to them and getting a yes immediately, or putting in a request for a government contract and getting through, or trying to research on something and striking gold there, getting good results. So whatever you do, the first part that you do, whatever you try to do, whether in your career or in your life, the first hurdle will always come at the first block itself, and then after 2-3 tries you will get through. However, this is also a good placement where if you are trying to work at a lower level, which means you are ready to give more time to it, you are ready to get more information, you are ready to do more research, and if you are ready to bid your time rather than trying to get through at the first effort itself or the first try itself, then this can be a very, very good thing. Such people can do very, very well over a period of time wherever they are getting connected to other people's money. So if people are working in banking industry, in the insurance and taxation or government related projects, the first few years almost like nothing is happening, it's all stagnant, and suddenly they get results. These people also make a lot of good gains from the in-laws if they work on good relations with the in-laws, because the 8th house is getting connected to the 7th house. Here there is a lot of intimacy, there is a lot of sexual tension, but a lot of sexual pleasure also coming in from whatever relationships you get into. So the relationship will be full of excitement, will be full of pleasure, full of gains also from the in-laws. However, if the relationship goes south, then there's a big price that you pay for it. There is a big loss that may come from various quarters, and you don't know what you hit, because suddenly trouble seems to be coming from different quarters because of one relationship going bad, because the 7th house is strongly getting connected to the 8th house. So it is almost as if you need to pay off the karmic baggage of the 7th house to keep the 8th house quiet. So relationships are very, very important. The more you work on relationships, the more the obstruction, the challenges of the 8th house seem to subdue, and the sudden challenges which usually come in the form of accidents, fires, losses, whatever, can be compensated or kept to rest if your relationships are strong, or relationships come to your rescue when those challenges happen. Good placement for anybody who wants to work on relationship and through that gain, rather than thinking that I am good, well off going it alone, I know it all and I don't need anybody. Such a person, if you have that approach with the 8th house Amatyakaraka, seldom will good success come to you and strong success come to you. If you're working with relationship, if you're ready to focus there and ready to give more initially and take later, then you do very, very well. This is also a placement where a lot of sexual challenges may also come in terms of health challenges. Later on in life, diseases connected to the prostate gland, the sexual organs can also come. So one is better off keeping good hygiene here rather than ending up having sudden challenges where you need to run to the clinic, even get hospitalized. The 9th house Amatyakaraka, retrograde Amatyakaraka, is one of a very, very strong placements. However, because it is getting connected to the 8th house also, which means initial education may go into a spin. So these such people may try to do one in certain one area of endeavor or one area of education, they may want to prosper and do very well, but suddenly they may end up doing something else later on. So you do your engineering in one subject, but you end up doing PhD into something else, maybe philosophy or something else, and through that then you find that you are compensated. And sometimes you depend on both. Your feet is in one degree or one qualification, but also in the other, and many times you don't know what to push more, and your interest may also be varied, and sometimes you get good successes in more than one line. So you get good success in one educational line, but in also others, and also the other, and through that then you don't know what to push and what to do well. However, if you pick up one thing and you're very clear in your mind, then you can do very, very well. This is a good placement of doing very well across cultures, also doing very well connected to religious institutions, spiritual institutions, travel, ticketing, getting connected to foreign lands also, and getting connected to research. So such people may also do their PhDs in some research oriented subject, or in those areas which has not been delved into, where a lot of work has not been done. But once they do that, and once they get that thing going, once they get the qualification going, they may also be the very, very few people who are qualified in that realm, qualified in that area, qualified in that industry, and then they can reap the fruits of the labor, because that qualification is rare, it doesn't come easy, and so because of that you gain very well. Such people may also go through sudden sudden challenges in their life, but through that they come out more wiser people. Such people can become very, very good leaders. Such people can be very, very spiritual in their approach rather than religious. It's not easy for them to pray, it's not easy for them to go to religious institutions or to go to temples or to churches. They are very, very spiritual. There is a lot of fear of the Lord. There is a lot of moral ethics which also comes from their strong sense that one needs to account for the actions. So people who are very, very spiritual in their approach, very, very learned in their approach, and people who can really do very well over a period of time using the learning, using the qualification, is the retrograde Amatyakaraka in the 9th house. The retrograde 10th house Amatyakaraka is one very, very strong placement, because your career is getting connected to the 9th house of fate and luck, which means your fate and luck to a large extent will determine your career and not your efforts alone. So however hard you work in your career, you will always find that you seem to be lucky in certain areas and not so lucky in certain areas. It is not just because of your effort that you get compensated and you rise in life. Your education is strongly getting connected to your career also. So whatever you get qualified in, you will find that you will do very well if you pursue that line as something that you take up as a career. You may also do very well with one boss, but some other boss may not be somebody who you can do very well with or have a good rapport with. In one company, you seem to do very, very well with your superiors. You change the company, you find different set of superiors, suddenly you face challenges. Or you hit off very well with superiors, however, growth or the recognition doesn't come to you. You seem to get stagnant here. And then when you leave those people who claim to be somebody who really appreciate, and you get to a new organization, the new organization where people don't know much about you, they may be ready to take you at a higher designation, at a higher role also. So this is kind of little tricky placement, especially where relationship with superiors seems to be going. However, such people have a lot of blessings from their gurus, have a blessings of their father on their side, blessing of sages on their side, and if you are regularly into some spiritual work, you visit spiritual places, then you also find that you also start to do better in career. So be more spiritual in your approach, be spiritual in your work, and you will find that later definitely, but you make a growth, higher growth through your learning, through your qualification, and through the blessings of the gurus and the sages that you have. A good Amatyakaraka, though retrograde, to have in the 10th house. The 11th house Amatyakaraka, the house of social connections, of your wishes and desires, and gains coming over a period of time, because it is an Upachaya house. Here is getting connected to your career. So your wishes and desires, where you want to end up in career, will take time to manifest. And usually this will manifest only when you join large organizations. In smaller organizations, you may not enjoy that kind of a growth, that kind of a role, or that kind of a satisfaction that you wish to have from your work. Only when you work for large organizations, large brands, you get the sense of satisfaction that you have achieved, you have arrived. Such people may do very, very well in very large organizations. They may end up heading departments also. However, they may hit that peak slower. Their colleagues may seem to hit the peak faster rather than them. However, once they hit the peak, they may go to the topmost echelons of the organization. Slow, but definitely they reach there. This is also a good placement where if you are getting connected to some social cause, this can bring you a lot of recognition. This can bring you in connection with a lot of network. This can get you connected to a lot of very, very well-known people in life, celebrities in life, very, very influential people in life, very powerful people in life. This is also a placement where somebody may get a lot of political power also very late in life. It is like late in your 50s or 60s, you got some breakthrough in politics or you made your first gain, and then only after you reach your 70s and beyond, you may get a really good placement or become a minister or head a large government institute or something like that. Slow but steady gains coming to you, and this is a good placement of almost all your wishes and desires coming true. Some coming through quicker, but some coming through very, very late in life. Sometimes where the meaning of that desire coming so late in life may not make much sense to you also. However, very, very good success, great success when you're trying to do something for society beyond yourself. If you are getting your career connected to something, if you truly value in society that you want to do, you want to give back, you want to compensate, then you truly do very, very well because of a strong Amatyakaraka getting connected to your 10th house. So all your karmic desires come true, all your karmic baggage can be shed as long as you serve society. Very, very strong retrograde Amatyakaraka to have in the 11th house. The 12th house Amatyakaraka is getting connected to the 11th house of desires, gains, society, doing something for society. So your spirituality comes from how much you are giving to others. This is also a strong placement almost of somebody who is giving up everything for the sake of society, for a cause that they believe in. If you work in a large organization and if you truly believe in the cause, then you can go to places. Such a placement can also be where your wishes and desires are coming true in a foreign land, or getting connected in foreign companies, or working for a foreign client, or working for a strong MNC, a large MNC. Such people may take time to go abroad or settle abroad, but once they do that, they get great success. Such people can also do very, very well in foreign service, or in diplomatic circles, or working in consulates. And these people can also do very, very well connected to anything connected to where you are serving others in armed forces or hospitals, and through that serving society. So if you have a strong aim that I want to serve society, but I want to do it through health, or I want to give back to my country, I want to serve my country, then you can really do very, very well. Usually I've seen such people with a strong 12th house Amatyakaraka. If they get into armed forces, they go to the top echelons, and many people may even get decorated. Such people may also end up becoming the heads of financial institutions, of hospitals, clinics, of NGOs, of charitable organizations, and even spiritual institutions. Some people who have a retrograde 12th house Amatyakaraka end up becoming very, very renowned spiritual gurus also, running their own ashramas also, and very, very strong crack at moksha itself, salvation itself. If your desire is to get moksha, serve society well, and you have a big strong chance that you will get the biggest ultimate thing that one can get in life, the promise of salvation. That is the strong Amatyakaraka and the 12th house for you. So friends, now that we have seen how the 12 houses Amatyakarakas, retrograde Amatyakarakas can give you results, look into your own horoscopes and check if your Amatyakaraka is retrograde in any of these 12 houses. Unless you have strong benefits which are cutting down on all these effects, to a large extent these results will manifest, and very, very different results, very unusual results also manifest because of a retrograde Amatyakaraka. Especially a lot of karmic baggage has to be shared, a lot of karmic work has to be done, but when you do it, when you're on the right track, a lot of good success touches your feet with a retrograde Amatyakaraka. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me. The link given below. Please reach out to me. Please follow me on Instagram. Until some other time with some other video. This is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.